Hello, Bill Molyneux here with Goober the Traveling Bear for both channels, Bill's History World with Goober the Traveling Bear and Bill's Wargame World. This is a Goober book review. Now, as many of you know, we spent 4 days in Kinston, North Carolina, and we learned a ton about Kinston. And let me tell you, there is a ton of Civil War history in Kinston, and we're going to talk about this book we purchased at the CSS Neuse Museum and Education Center. So, I believe the price point was around $12. There it is, $12. So Matthew Young, who runs that incredible site with Rachel and the whole crew there, I can't say more, just how awesome the entire CSS Neuse Education Museum is. So let's get on to our book review. Kinston, North Carolina, Lenoir County during the Civil War by Cliff Tyndall, author of Threshold of Freedom. It's a small, thin paperback, 65 pages. Full of illustrations, and what we're going to do is we're just going to flip through a few pages. I've done the book reviews in the past where I've done it this way, and I've also done the slideshows. Please leave a comment which way you like better. All right. Well, here we go. First of all, I have a signed copy. Cliff Tyndall. All right. To contact the author, greetings from campdavis.com. All right, a short introduction. The index is very nicely done. And what is amazing about Kinston that I did not know about, it's in North Carolina. Here's the county. You have to drive a good couple hours south from Richmond to get to it from Virginia. So, not to bore everyone with this book, but it reads really nice. It covers the schools. A nice map. Tells you where the CSS Neuse 2 and the CSS Neuse Museum is. African Americans played a huge part, along with the African American free blacks, the Civil War. The unit that came out, I think, is the 35th Union African American unit. He has a list of some of the soldiers here, and just really neat how this book covers so many topics. And here we have agriculture. Now, the CSS Neuse. Here it is, the only ironclad above water. And picture of the hull, which is now in the museum, that Matthew Young and his entire team, their objective is to help educate people about the American Civil War and the CSS Neuse. Now, Kinston, North Carolina, besides the CSS Neuse, they had two battles. They had the first Battle of Kinston in December of 62, and then the second battle in 65, which is Weiss Fork. The Battle of Kinston, December 14th, 1862. The author does a nice little talk about the battle and the bridge issue. There is a retreat going across the bridge. Now, before we get to the Battle of Weiss Forks, this is a really interesting topic regarding General George Pickett. Now, General Pickett, he was in charge of the attack on New Bern, and what happened is, and there's a lot of controversy over this, and I'm just going to brush by it. 20 some odd Confederate soldiers had left the Confederate Army, joined the Union Army, and then they were captured at New Bern. Here's their names. And sadly, they were hung as deserters, traitors to the Confederacy. Nothing ever happened after the war regarding this. Nothing happened to General Pickett or the other Confederate officers that were involved in that. So this book really goes into a little bit of detail about it. I'm just brushing by. General Braxton Bragg is our overall commander for the Battle of Weiss Fork and Bentonville. Bentonville is about an hour and a half away from Kinston. So, the fight for the Kinston Bridge. Now, as we go through these pages, I'm going to hopefully run into Jones's Bridge, but let's see here. He has some really neat photographs of buildings that existed during the 1860 era. And this one here, Harmony Hall. Let me get a close-up of it. So Harmony Hall, we were allowed to visit with the two wonderful ladies that were volunteering there. They were making ham sandwiches for a party. I made a wonderful YouTube video of Harmony Hall and a lot of history in there, and one creepy room full of creepy old dolls. And Goober was invited to tea there, which we have pictures and video of. So this was one of those hidden gems, as my friend Kevin would say. Now, the book also has many other different buildings and churches. A lot of churches in Kinston. So, what I'd like to end up with, I've never met, talked to, or emailed. I did email the author just to let him know I was going to make a video. He never responded, and I don't know if the email I had actually works. But he's had a really nice little book. He's got a couple books out. And the story on Pickett's charge in here, the CSS Deuce, and both Kinston battles. This is really a really must-have book. So for $12, you can buy it online through, once again, greetings from campdavis.com. Enlarge that for you. Okay, or you can go on to the CSS News Education Center site through Facebook or website and purchase this awesome little book directly from the CSS News Historical Education Center that Goober and I really try to help and support. And I'm also, gotta say, I'm a proud board member for that site. So a guy in Maryland is actually a board member in a museum in North Carolina. Well, that's about it from Goober the Traveling Bear and his book review. And as we try to always do, we're going to give it 2 paws up. There's one. There's another one. Cliff Tyndall, I don't know if you'll ever see this book review, but you did a really nice job on this book. And you hit all the high points of the enormous amount of history that there is in Kinston, North Carolina. I found that you could spend 3 or 4 days visiting all the historic sites. Thank you again. Stay safe, be kind, and be courteous, everyone.